Hello, my name is Kyle Smith. I'm the activity programmer at the Wellington County Museum and Archives, which you can see right behind me here. What I want to do today is talk a little bit about some of the historical sites that we have along the trails in the historic environs around the museum. So what the museum used to be, for anyone who doesn't know, is it used to be the House of Industry and Refuge for Wellington County. Most people would have called it the Poor House. And during the construction of that building, it was a big undertaking. As you can see, it's a nice, beautiful, big building. They needed to have all kinds of construction work. They needed to have all kinds of different things to help build it. And one of those things was mortar. And to make mortar, you needed lime. Now, that's great. Center Wellington, Elora Fergus, has lots of limestone. The Elora Gorge is all made out of limestone. We're right along the gorge. But they needed a way of turning it into lime. And what you need to do is you need to burn it. You need to burn it at a very high temperature, and they would have built a large, what they called a lime kiln, which is basically a big bowl made out of rocks that you fill with other rocks, fill with limestone, light a very high temperature fire, and you let it burn very hot for a very long time. The ruins of the lime kiln they used for the construction of the House of Industry and Refuge is still right here along, which looks basically like a big pile of rocks, is still here. The ruins of the bowl shape on the outside is still there, which you can see. There's also little bits, any of those white rocks that you can see are still some lime that is still left over from when it was in use. This is kind of cool thing that you can see if you're coming to walk the trails with your dog while you're doing your social distancing. You can see I've got my social distancing haircut. My quarantine haircut's already on the go. Just moving right along, there's a couple other cool historical sites along this trail. The other one that you can see here, which is actually part of the trail itself, all of these rocks, this pile of rocks that we have here, these are all limestone. And these are the small types of rocks that would have been put into the lime kiln to burn for making into lime, for making into mortar. When they finished using the lime kiln, this big pile was still here. It eventually became a smaller pile, pushed down a little bit so it can become the trail. And I'm gonna walk across it right now, hopefully not turn an ankle or anything like that. Keep on going. It is a beautiful trail. I do really enjoy it. We've got this nice little bridge, which I'm walking across now, and you can see behind me, we've got a beautiful stream going across. The nice cattails and weeds going along. Looks very scenic. We keep moving to our next historical site. Not too far away, it's right around the corner, and it is the water supply. So when the Poor House was in use, there's maybe about 100 people on any given year who were living there. And they all needed to have something to drink, obviously. Water was big and important. And luckily, there was a spring nearby. There was a well up there too, but that wasn't gonna do enough for them. So they needed a spring. Beautiful, clear spring water came right out of the ground. This spring is still in existence. It is right here. I'm gonna try not to soak my boots. You can see all this wet, mucky ground right here. If you listen very carefully, and if you look very carefully right here, you can see that the spring still runs when the water's table is high, which it is right now. And that water from the spring would have come up out of the ground, pushed through pipes to a holding tank, which is right here. Water would have been stored in there, and then it had to have some way of getting up to the Poor House. So what they did is they built a water ram, is what they called it, and right behind me over here, there's the ruins of that water ram. Basically a large pump, a large siphon would push the water all the way up through pipes, all the way up here, across the field, across the street, up the hill towards the House of Industry and Refuge, where it would actually get pumped into the attic. And that way they would have some sort of system for plumbing on the inside of the house. To power all of this, because water obviously doesn't want to reverse gravity and go up there all by itself, we also had a windmill. Now, this is not the original windmill. The original windmill has since been taken down. This is a reproduction that we added about maybe last year. It's not very windy today, so it's not working, but it does work. It spins around if you come here on a windy day. And this is how it worked. And these are two of the, less visited, maybe less known about historical sites that we have here on the museum. You can't visit the museum right now because of the situation that we're under, but these are places where if you've been sitting on your couch all day long, you need to take the dog for a walk, you need to take the kids out for a walk. As long as you're following your social distancing guidelines, there's no reason that you can't come and visit these interesting and beautiful places. So I hope you all enjoy, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.